All right, we're going to continue to step through this mortgage process and see where Web3 can help crypto DeFi. So we already talked about how I can potentially connect my wallet with my on-chain identity. Remember, because the bank is looking for certain information from me, and we can go to the, some sort of public blockchain, and I'm going to connect with I'm going to have my on-chain identity. And there are many companies working on this on-chain identity, which is going to be super important when we start connecting wallets and have that be the way that we show who we are and prove who we are. So this on-chain identity I'm going to have. One of the issues is obviously giving the bank all the information about me and what I have, my assets and such. Another big piece is going to be my credit history. Right now, my credit history, my credit report, my credit score is kept by 3 companies, and those 3 companies, TransUnion, Experian, Equifax, are basically in charge. They basically have their rules for reporting, and then anyone that I have any company that I have any sort of debt with is basically not required, but they all report to these 3 agencies based on my payment history, how much of my loan is outstanding, how much have I paid, how often have I paid, what is the, how am I keeping up to date with my debt service, all of those things. It's not a perfect system. It's a system we have, and it's a system we keep using because we don't have anything else yet. But there are probably better ways to ascertain whether or not I'm a good credit risk for this without having to have these centralized companies. And these centralized companies, by the way, have had their systems hacked, and all of my information has been shared because their systems have been hacked. So not exactly the safest system in the world. So are we going to be able to build kind of an on-chain credit? And I believe we are. There's going to be different scoring methodology, again, based on my participation in decentralized finance, based on what I have done on-chain. Because now the credit portion is going to look on-chain. It's going to look at my wallet interactions. Okay, it's going to look at more at what type of assets I have, what type of maybe DeFi income I have. This is not income from my actually doing work, but maybe this is income from my assets. What types of debt do I have? What do I have in terms of collateral? But it's actually going to look at my transactions in real time and give some sort of score as to how indebted I am right now, or what type of debt I have taken on, how much of it is collateralized versus under collateralized, and it's going to be able to give a much better score, or much more accurate view of my credit. But it's not necessarily going to come down to a single score. Again, it's just going to have a whole bunch of data about me. And what's going to happen, again, is the bank is going to have an application. I'm going to connect my wallet to this application, and I'm going to say, okay, you have the opportunity, this bank application, to read some of this information about me. But again, we're going to go back to the idea of a ZK proof, zero knowledge proof. And you're not necessarily going to get every bit of information about me and everything that's going on right now. All you're going to do is your app is going to say, here's the criteria we need, and the chain is the application is going to say, all right, Adam does or does not fit that criteria based on his history. We don't have to give Adam a score, because the score that Adam has for you for borrowing against a home, which is obviously a tremendous amount of income that is needed, but also a hugely over-collateralized asset, a hugely over-collateralized loan. The criteria that you need might be different than the criteria that Adam needs to borrow for a car, or the criteria that Adam needs to get a credit card. So it doesn't make sense for all of that to come down to one score. What it makes sense to do is just say, here's all the transactions Adam has, here's everything Adam has going on. We don't need to give him one score. All we need to do is say, the data's here, your application, tell us what criteria you need, and we will tell you if Adam fits that criteria, but we're not going to give you all the information about him, okay? And that's a little bit about, and there are different companies that are working on credit, on-chain credit or decentralized credit, because the way we've done it to date kind of works. It was kind of necessary at the time to have kind of a standard, but now, when we're going to have more data that is more transparent, and the ability for me to connect a lot of that data to my on-chain identity, we are going to have the ability to have much more robust, I don't want to say credit scoring because you're not going to have a score, but much better analysis of whether or not the credit that I have built up, whether or not my actions warrant getting some sort of loan, whether or not my actions warrant the money being loaned to me, and am I going to be able to pay it back? And I think that is really what we're looking for, and that's the essence of credit scoring, right? Do Adam's actions in the past warrant your giving him a loan for this? But the warranting, the idea of what those criteria are different for every company that's going to try to lend me the money. So that's a little bit about how ZK proofs and credit scoring are going to affect within this whole mortgage scenario in Web3. Thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video talking about mortgages in Web3.